Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things Gratitude Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Dorsey, and today our next guest is a digital entrepreneur, live broadcast producer, business coach, and speaker. He is the founder of digital media company Funnel Factory and is best known for being an early adapter and pioneer of independently produced and distribute live TV shows. He served as a technology consultant for Fortune 500 companies and was a recipient of the NASA Space Grant Scholarship while studying chemical engineering at ASU, Arizona State University. Go Sun Devils. Hey,
Go
please
Devils.
welcome to the show the guy with the cool name, Nick Silva. What's up, Nick?
Hey, what's up, Nick? Appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, this is great, man. He's on the road right now because he's got some great stuff going on. Hey, Nick, give everybody insight what's going on with you right now, man.
Yeah, so I started the digital nomad journey, if you're familiar with that. About 2 weeks ago, I started in Seattle. So I technically have no residence anymore. I mean, I have my apartment still in Scottsdale, but I'm going to be traveling full time and just going in and seeing the world. So it can be a lot more mobile in 2021. Probably going to go over to Europe in the summer. And right now here in Austin, Texas, was in Dallas last week, going back to Phoenix one final time to kind of clear up the rest of my apartment. And then I'm going to be on the road all summer. So just kind of excited and I'm very blessed right now.
That's awesome, man. Life of an entrepreneur, getting it going, but at the same time, you get to explore and see some really cool places and cities, man. So that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. So
thank you.
Hey, going back to the beginning with all this stuff, I mean, like you're the founder of the media company Funnel Factory. How did that come up? And, how's it done for you? And, where are you going with everything?
Yeah, so about 9 months ago, I quit to go full-time with Funnel Factory. I was previously a technology consultant, and I really just wanted to break out into entrepreneurship. And, I had tested out e-commerce stores. I kind of went through the whole entrepreneurial cycle. And for me, my strong suit was just technology, system integrations, and building funnels was kind of a natural avenue into entrepreneurship where I could pick up freelance clients, support myself, and kind of figure it out as I go along. So I founded Funnel Factory about a year ago. I did some side projects. I built a bunch of sales funnels for myself, just testing stuff out. None of them really, hit, and I didn't make tons and tons of money from building the sales funnels. But what I did was get really, really good at sales funnel systems. So all of the different integrations with like email marketing campaigns, all the different designs, building websites, and really, technically pulling all that stuff together, which I found a lot of people, they might've been good at ClickFunnels, but they didn't really understand, how to patch code. And not that you want that complexity, but I had that strong suit. So I quit 9 months ago, full time to go into Funnel Factory. And initially it was just a done for you sales funnel agency. That's what it was. I built marketing campaigns. I built sales funnels for people. And then as that progressed, I didn't want to continue scaling a done for you type of service, at least in the agency model. I still love sales funnels. I'm glad I picked up that skill set, but I was kind of just trying to figure out what I wanted to actually niche down into, what could be unique for me. And it ended up being live streaming. So I started live streaming about 9 months ago as a way of just kind of, showcasing some of my knowledge, connecting with my audience, and really just interviewing people and building relationships. And it kind of progressed into, what it is today, where now I'm producing live streams full time for companies and individuals and really using it as a marketing tool.
That's great stuff, man, because we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and this is a debate I have with some people all the time, and I love how people have different opinions on things. The big thing is, okay, am I going to produce a podcast and put it out later, or am I going to live stream a podcast? And each way, I'm not saying either one, which one's better than the other, but I know for me, live streaming is a lot better because I feel that people want to see my true personality, how it is. And if I make mistakes, I make mistakes. And that's really, I think, building a personal relationship almost with somebody over a stream than somebody who edits and everything. And there's nothing wrong with editing, people. There's not. I think it's your personality, what drives you, which direction you need to go in. We were talking about this earlier, live streaming. Just give a little insight from your point of view, why live stream is so important, how huge it can be, especially when it comes to for businesses and even sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah. So, a great question. And there is this kind of debate between live streams and podcasts, but in my personal opinion, there's no debate whatsoever. Live streams are just significantly more profitable. They're really the next natural progression of podcasts. And here's kind of why. So with a podcast, that's really one distribution channel, and it's an audio medium. And when you look at a live stream, you can take the audio recording and repurpose it into a podcast, and you should, into that one distribution channel. But when you actually look at live streams as a whole, compared to any other type of content, they have the highest repurpose value. And that's really why they're so valuable, is that you can repurpose that content to a number of different platforms, a number of different ways, and it's video content. And when you're looking at time to value and putting in your time and production and resources into live streams or into any other type of content, the live streams are going to give you that highest repurpose value. So the other thing is the simulcasting of the live stream, that you can pop up on each platform in real time, simultaneously. So you can be on Facebook, you can be on LinkedIn, you can be on YouTube at the same time. You can't do that with a podcast, can't do that with any other type of content. And it's just going to drive tons and tons of impressions. And when it comes to sponsorship and monetization in general, whether it's sponsorship of a podcast or just trying to monetize traffic, you're going to gain a lot more traction much faster with a live stream, because you're popping up simultaneously on each of these platforms. There's also 3 touch points with the live stream, going back to this impressions, where you can promote the live stream in advance. You have the live stream, what we're doing right now. People could ask questions in the comments. You can engage with people, they're seeing you. And then after the live stream, you can repurpose all of that content into micro clips. Think of it as like the Gary V content pyramid. You take this 45-minute live stream, we're probably gonna get 5 clips out of it. And then you cut that up, redistribute it to your network on each social channel. And I'll even redistribute it, right? So you can tap into my audience. You can't really do any of that with a podcast. So there's just so many different opportunities to repurpose the content. And, the simple fact is that video ads and video content has a much higher value than audio mediums. So when it comes to ads and sponsorships, a TV commercial, you can charge 5 to 50 times the price of a radio commercial. And that's no different with a live stream. So if you're trying to pitch to sponsors, you're saying, oh, well, I'm going to distribute on one podcast channel an audio clip. With a live stream, you could distribute that same ad across 5 or 6 different channels, across 20 different posts, and charge 10 times the rate. It's significantly more profitable. I mean, you can go and monetize a live stream show in less than 12 episodes for probably 10 times the rate you would a sponsorship for a podcast that's been running for a year or two. I've never seen anything really like it. And, people are kind of missing out if they're not adopting to this right now, because it's unsaturated.
Apparently I'm missing out. So like I said, we'll talk later. But no, I'm a big live stream person, obviously, as we noticed and everything. And the one thing that StreamYard did, I want to say about a year ago or a little under a year ago, it was the best thing ever, where you can go in and promote the show. I think it's a week and a half beforehand, and all those comments stay there. Like you said, I make a little promo, just a little promo banner that puts in there. And the great thing is, during the show now, people who are watching this, if they comment, they can read all the comments that were already there before the show, so they can get some answers and add on to that and meet some new people. But afterwards also, it's like, people look in the comments, his website's down there, and nothing disappears. And
right.
that's what I like about it on that aspect. That was a game changer for me. That's when things just blew up for me. So I love that aspect of it, and like we were talking about, next step for me is, because I'm not a video editing person, so that's not my forte whatsoever, but it's making these little, couple minute clips and everything now, and be able to redistribute that, and maybe do a greatest episode, down the road, where I have clips from 8 or 9 different podcasts of just key things people have said. So, no, love it, man. I love what you're doing. It's great. I mean, I get the Instagram notification all the time because you're doing live streams a lot on there. I mean, so for you, what's your big platform? Is it Instagram? Is that the big one for you? Or
it used to be, and it's not anymore. It's actually funny. I was going to write a LinkedIn post this week about how I'm kind of just done with Instagram. So I hate Instagram as a platform now. The reach with Instagram is purely from Reels. So if you're posting Reels, that's cool. But I'm about to focus purely on LinkedIn and TikTok. If I'm going to spend time making content, I love LinkedIn right now. I used to use it years and years ago. There's a ton of reach there, but there's just a lot more genuine connections. The content's better. And with TikTok, nothing touches the reach on TikTok. I mean, there's no other platform in the world that you can post a video, have no followers, and get 1 million views. I'm not saying that's going to easily happen, but the potential's there with TikTok. So if I'm going to make lifestyle type of content, or these little, micro clips, short form content, less than a minute. I'm going to put all my efforts into TikTok going forward, and then spend the bulk of my time on LinkedIn, building out those connections. So those are going to be my two primary channels. I do stream to Facebook, and I still get some engagement with Facebook, more so than Instagram. But yeah, Instagram was kind of my initial channel. It's just the actual interactions, very non-genuine. There's a lot of fake spammy content on there, and the algorithm it doesn't favor the people who are using it, right? It just doesn't help anyone on there. I think there's a lot of mental health issues with Instagram. Not that that's why I'm leaving it. It's just not worth my time. But in terms of distribution as well, since we were just kind of talking about that, there's OTT channels that very few people have tapped into. And when I say OTT, over the top, think Netflix, Hulu, those types of channels that you watch on your TV, you watch on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and those apps are now becoming commoditized. You can actually get an app with, minimal developer experience or minimal developer cost to what it used to be. And so this week, I'm actually going to be building out an Apple TV channel. I already have an Amazon Fire TV channel, and I'm trying to get a Roku channel. Might take a few weeks, but I'm going to start distributing my content to those channels in addition to social. And if you looked at Vimeo, there's a couple different streaming softwares out there and platforms, but Vimeo more recently started promoting their OTT streaming service. And they actually allow you to live stream to these channels if you have them in place. So for companies that have the resources or have like an Apple or Roku channel, Apple TV channel, you can stream there live as well. And there's a ton of traffic on those channels. People are watching TV all day. So that's going to be a huge opportunity for distribution. And that's something I'll try to roll out this week.
Yeah. Don't give away all the secrets yet. That's some good stuff,
hey,
man.
If they can do it, man, if they can execute on it, that's really the challenge. It's not, it's the strategy makes sense. It's pretty simple. It's just the execution is really where the value is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just need to know somebody who knows how to do it. So get a hold of Nick, guys. So, that's some good stuff. And that's the thing, you brought up a good point about like Instagram and LinkedIn and all that stuff. I noticed too, I'm not a huge presence on Instagram. I just did it to put my content somewhere else. But I noticed my reels, I have like 160 followers on Instagram, if that. I mean, I'm barely on there, but I put a reel on there, I'll get like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 watches off a reel. That's just, I will say it's stupid. I don't mean it that way, but it's just like picture in my backyard, a little quick video in my backyard. Bam, 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 bam. I did the reface app of me being a wrestler, Edge, doing some of his moves. Bam, that thing just blew up. And I'm just like, this is dumb. Whatever. I do that. I'll put these live videos on here, or not live, but afterwards, I'll post them on IGTV, and it does a little bit.
Right. A couple hundred views max.
Yeah. I do Facebook just for my family, because that's basically a lot of people in my family just have Facebook so they can watch this if they want to, that's a big thing. But for me, LinkedIn's my huge one, obviously. I believe that's how we met. I don't know if it was, and, I got a pretty nice following on there, so it makes it nice, and like these get very good momentum, and that's good. And I can go all week without posting something, but this podcast every week will bring some momentum back into me. So it's nice on that, because like you said, you build that foundation, and that's what you're going to go into, build those connections, build that foundation. And I think LinkedIn's just the way to be right now, especially on this, because it's more of a business type place. I know there's drama in there, but where it doesn't have drama.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. The quality of the connections is much better on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So love it, man. So, man, I'm excited for you, because I know when we first started talking, it was more about live stream. I want to say it was about 7 or 8 months ago. It's been a minute.
It's been around that. Yeah.
Yeah. And never had a chance to meet yet, but now the world, especially back in Arizona, is kind of back to normal. So, it'll be more, when you're in town, it'd be great to meet up and do that kind of stuff and talk about things. And boy, a lot's changed for me and a lot's changed for you, doing your new stuff now, but you're always doing something different, man. You're always trying new things. And that's what I like. And that's cool, being that entrepreneur, because look you're doing chemical engineering at ASU. You're far from that now, man.
Oh yeah, I'm very far from that. I mean, if you look at the past 2 years, it's crazy. I put, about 6 years into college wanting to be a chemical engineer. And I worked at Intel. I did process engineering. I had 2 internships. I did research for NASA my senior year, and it was all great experience. But I think it was more about just proving to myself that I could do that. If I wanted to go and work in software or work in chemical engineering and go work at Google or something, that I had the potential to do that. I just wanted to prove that to myself. I did have the job in software consulting, and that was an amazing experience. I worked at Pegasystems for a year. Awesome people, great culture, learned a ton. And if I ever went back to the corporate world, it would be in that type of role, in a solutions consultant role, doing enterprise software sales. I mean, it was like a dream come true. But I, always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I mean, it was always in my DNA. I was always thinking of like new business ideas. And I think with 2020 in the past 5 years, I think it really became available to people for the first time, that old idea of having to go and raise investor money and needing tons of money and tons of experience to go and start a business is just not true anymore. I mean, you can start a business with a couple $100 and, you could pretty much outsource anything. You find all these freelancers and you can run a super lean business. And you see people do this all the time. You see them start these grassroots businesses on, drop shipping or reselling, hype beast gear, and, these millennials and, Gen Zers that have, profitable growing businesses. And I saw all of that. And I got to see that, with Instagram and having my following there. And it just kind of really inspired me that I could go and do this. It was a reality that I could go start my business and at least take a swing at it. And I did, and, had some failures, had some learning curves, but it's really not as bad as everyone thinks. If you're persistent, I think there's a ton of opportunity out there, and about to be a lot more, as things are opening up.
So we had a comment from Matthew. Nick's last name's Silva. If you look down in the comments with this live stream, his LinkedIn profile is there. So you can click on that and you'll find him right away. And if you have any questions for him, DM him. So good stuff there. And being part of an entrepreneur, failure is part of it. And that's what people need to realize. That, I mean, most people, 99.9% of the people who go out on their own, you're going to fail 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, that's just part of it, but that's the learning curve of it, and that's what makes you better. That's what makes you stronger. So that's some good stuff right there, man. So, some things I look at, Nick, is just, it's amazing to what you're doing now. And I look at this because one of my comments in the off the promo was, I'm definitely watching the show because he got a NASA space grant scholarship. So my buddy asked me to ask you about that. So what went on with the NASA space grant? Because he's big into the Mars rover right now and all that stuff. So, how did that come across to you? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I originally went to ASU because they had tons of research money and they have a really good engineering school, but I wanted to go to a big research school. And so they're doing a ton of research. And at that time, I want to say they were ranked like number 14th in terms of like research spend of all universities public without a medical school, if I'm correct. So they were really high level. It's some amazing professors. Like a lot of my professors went to Caltech and MIT and Harvard, and they do a ton in nanoscience, like microprocessors, and then space. They have, I want to say they're launching like 6 or 7 missions with NASA at the time that I left about 2 years ago. So they have a ton of space exploration missions. And for me, I applied for this grant. I was doing research on carbon filtration, is probably a good way to, and just carbon reduction. And then I wanted to go into polymers. I wanted to do plastics. And I had a professor who had built this new molecule that had the potential to be a scrubber for, international space, like life support systems for space. So I applied with him. I met him. We applied for the space grant. He had never gotten it before. We ended up getting it. And for me, I was just building out the actual, the initial system and setting up all the testing and, the apparatus and more of the manufacturing side of it. I didn't necessarily synthesize the actual molecules. I did a little bit, but that wasn't the chemistry side of it. Wasn't my forte. It was more of, taking that and doing all the testing and the statistics and the data. So did that for 9 months. And that was kind of the big turning point in my life. Up until then, I had struggled in school. I was working several jobs. And, I spent 4 years in community college just to try and get to ASU, failed chemistry 3 times. Eventually, I got good at it. I got A's in organic chemistry 1 and 2. But that was kind of the turning point. That scholarship was right after my first internship. I was incredibly grateful to NASA and the director there. Her name was Desiree. I called her almost every week that summer, just asking for updates. And I was just so adamant about it. They ended up giving it to me. And it was an amazing experience. I got
That's awesome, man. I used to work in manufacturing, aviation, and aerospace. So, we did some parts for the Falcon 9 and everything. So that stuff's really cool to me. It just blows me away what we can do, especially now, Elon's doing with NASA and everything. It's absolutely amazing, so that's really awesome. So we can finally meet our neighbors out there. Right. So
exactly.
finally figure that stuff out. But so Nick, this next year coming up, let's look next 6 months, let's say. I mean, you're looking at doing stuff with Apple TV, you're working with companies on live streams and everything. Where do you not say where do you see this going, but what's your goals that you're trying to achieve with everything? What's that high limit mark you're looking for?
Yeah, the end goal is simply to have a network. So I think there's a very narrow window right now for someone to launch a media company and actually get onto these like Apple TVs and Amazon Fire TV and to be able to launch a media company and compete against like the ESPNs. And I'm not saying I'm going to build a $1 billion company, but as things start to get more saturated, it's going to get very difficult to get these channels. And right now they're giving these channels to people if you have high enough quality content. So rather than going and building an OTT platform from like a software SaaS side, there's a lot of them available. You're seeing them come to market. I'm doing it backwards, and I'm starting with the customer and I'm starting with monetization. So my idea is if I can produce enough shows, I'm going to get very, very good at production, which I'm getting really good at production. Adding in a different elements to the show and even just tons of different softwares. I'm at the point now that it's not really cost effective, but I could go and reproduce like an ESPN channel or a Fox News channel visually. We can do that quickly. And if I produce enough shows, well, then I'll have enough content to start my own network. And so that's why I'm building out the Apple TV channel, the Amazon Fire TV channel. I haven't decided on the name yet. I got to think of that, but it's going to be like an independent creator network where people can come and produce their own like news channel. So imagine the news that's not negative. Like this is the All Things Gratitude podcast, right? And maybe you want to talk about positive things that happened that entire week. And with live streaming, you can have your own news channel. You can give updates in real time. You can be the news. So that's what we're trying to empower people to do. And I'm going to provide a channel to do that. And I'm at 5 shows right now. I have a couple more in the pipeline, and at that point, I think it's enough content to have this, this OTT network, and that's really the goal right now. But I'm kind of putting one foot in front of the other. I do have a course coming out. I'm a sales funnel guy, so I know there's so many courses out there, and there's so many coaching programs and all of that. I mean, mine is simply, hey, if you want to get good at live streaming, you want to understand how to actually launch a live stream and get it monetized in 3 months. That's the end result, is to get a sponsorship. That's really where the ROI is. So that's going to be released next week. It's pretty much just a documentation of the case studies from my first couple of shows to prove that it actually works, including my own, because that was the first thing I did was I went and monetized my show and then started helping people do that. That's pretty much it. Just traveling full time. I'm 26 years old. Now's the time to do it. Going to explore and go see the world and really just enjoy building this company. It's going to be a great ride.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to be so excited to watch this because this is not my world. All that stuff, how you launch these things, how you do that. So it's so cool learning from people and watching people that I know do these things, because you just sit back and watch and listen, and you never know. It might be something that catches on. It's like, wow, that's for me now, or this or that. And I love when you say there's so many courses out there and so many people are putting out. But the great thing about it is finding that person that fits your personality to work with that course, to listen to that course. Because you're right. There are so many people out there. But for example, I'll just use you and I, because we're right here, is we can sell the same thing and have the same course, but my personality will attract somebody and your personality will attract somebody else, and they'll get more out of it, So that's what I love with the live stream, because you get to see somebody's real personality. And that was huge for me when I first started all this, Nick, is it going to be live stream? Is it going to be pre-recorded? How are we going to do this? It just started off as a YouTube live. Well, first couple started off as a Zoom call. That turned into, okay, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to put this out. Then, oh, wait, YouTube gives me a free live streaming if I just make a channel. So I made a YouTube channel. So it started there. Then I hounded LinkedIn for 6 months, every 2 weeks, about getting LinkedIn Live.
Same.
And then I got the LinkedIn Live. Then StreamYard came in, and then created a Facebook account. Then, created, I do it to Twitter every once in a while, Periscope, Twitter, whatever they want to call that, their live streaming part of it. So I do that, thinking about upgrading to put it onto Twitch, possibly just to put it on as many channels as I can. I mean, if I only get 1 or 2 hits out of one of them, that's fine, because that they can tell 10 people, and then I get another 1 or 2 hits. They tell 10 more people. Before you know it, you got 100 new followers, but guess what? 10,000 people know about you now. So you never know. That's the great thing about live and marketing like this. It's all word of mouth. That's what I like. But I like the sponsorship deal thing too. I mean, why not? So I can see it how it helps businesses too, and getting that little stream of light right there.
But yeah, there's no reason not to stream to multiple platforms. I mean, with these simulcasting softwares, you could literally stream to 30 destinations. And that's like, when you think of the multiplication of impressions, that's where the value is for businesses. That's where the value is for sponsorships. It's all about impressions and views.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to have a good show, and, you want to provide value to people and be genuine, but there's no other type of content that you can push a button and in seconds be on 30 different platforms. It just doesn't exist. And so the power of being able to stream everywhere at one specific time is just, I don't think we've ever really seen anything like it. And then when you add in these OTT channels, like you said, even if you only get 10 viewers or 10 subscribers for the first couple episodes, it's going to build with time. If you're consistently putting out content, just you're gonna build followers, you're gonna build subscribers. It's just gonna naturally happen. And if you're being consistent about making the content, it's only gonna get higher and higher in the value of production. It's only gonna get better, right? You're gonna get better at your craft. So, the fact that these live streams just exist on these platforms after they're live, they're evergreen, and people can go and watch them and see. It's in a couple of years, if you've been live streaming consistently, it's gonna be way more than if you got into podcasts 4 or 5 years ago, because you're on every channel.
Absolutely. Because I look back at my very first episode, and I'm on episode 41 today. And I always heard people say it's about 50, where everything just kind of, you either know you're going the right direction or you're not. But I mean, everybody is different. That's just one person's opinion. But I can look for my first episode to right now, how much it's changed. And it's only been 40 episodes. And I remember my first one, I think the total impressions was like 400, and now, it's 25, 30, 40,000 a show, and some of them been a lot higher. Some of them been lower, I mean, it just happens, but it's just crazy, because I'm just thinking about what you're saying. And as you can see, I don't put much into this. The promo takes me like 10 minutes to do. I mean, I think sometimes the longest part is actually talking with somebody and getting them scheduled, finding a time and a date that works with them, even though everything's through Calendly. It's still that's the longest part of a lot of this, for me. So, just listen to what you're saying and things you're doing. If I just put half more effort into it, you never know what it could be. So, here we go. We got a question from Matthew. So, what software do newbies like me need for going live and editing? So the two that I recommend would be one, StreamYard, which is what you're using. That's what I started with. Initially, I started with Instagram Live. And so the cool thing with live is you really only need your phone. An iPhone is more than enough, and a pair of AirPods or even wired headphones is more than enough to start streaming. You don't even need a podcast mic, but it helps. It adds an additional element, but not really necessary. You could just start streaming live on Instagram just to get comfortable with going live. But if you want the software, StreamYard is a good one to start with. It's very simple and easy to use. I also recommend Switcher Studio, and that's actually who sponsored me and what I use. And Switcher is really my favorite right now, hands down, because they're very simple and they're actually built for iOS. So I can travel anywhere and literally just carry my phone and stream anywhere and still produce a really high quality stream with different graphics. And
what I also like is that you can layer content. You can't do that with StreamYard. So it's like if you wanted to layer different overlays and layer videos and, switch up different views, StreamYard is just way too basic for me. It's great to just open up and get started for the first couple of shows, but very quickly I was just kind of left with wanting more to do. And then I found Switcher, and I think Switcher just kind of has that happy medium where, it'll go deep if you need, additional inputs. And, there's like, it's a switcher board. That's really what it does, is it's a virtual switcher board. If you know anything about streaming and audio and stuff like that, you need all of this equipment to mix in sounds and mix in different inputs. And Switcher takes care of all that, on a touchscreen. So you just use your finger to do all these switches and transitions, but it's still very simple. And so I would check out Switcher Studio as well. And you can actually get a free month and a half with Switcher. So I can post it in the comments, but you can use my discount code, or it's like a sign up code. It's Launch My Live. So when you sign up for Switcher Studio, put in Launch My Live as the promo code, and Switcher is going to give you 14 days for free to test it out. And then they're going to give you an additional 30 days with that promo code. So you get 45 days for free to test out Switcher, and, do a bunch of different live streams, and they give you all the full features. There's no cap, there's no like limits and all that stuff. It's the full suite of Switcher. So I would check that out, for 45 days.
I like that, and I'm not the big technological person, I'm a facilities guy. So that's why I started out with StreamYard. Very simple for me. It was $70 for a year, and I get I think up to like 5 channels or something like that. I could stream live to 6 or something like that. But if you're starting off somebody and you're just trying to check it out, StreamYard is very simple. It's easy, goes through. But then if you want to add to the next level, I love what you're putting in a Switcher. Put it down in the comments. I mean, please check it out. Matthew, I don't know what you're going for or what you're looking to do, but me as a newbie, I'll call myself still a newbie. It was just trying to find what my niche was. Because like I said, I started first with just pre-recorded and putting out there. Then I started with YouTube Live. Then I got into LinkedIn Live. Then I got into StreamYard. Just finding your comfort zone, I think it's the biggest thing. And the audience you're trying to target. Are you trying to target everybody? Are you trying to go for, like on LinkedIn, the 700 million people are on LinkedIn? Or are you trying to go for CEOs? Are you trying to go for the everyday person? Are you trying to go for a male audience, a female audience? What are you trying to do? I think those are a lot of decisions you got to think about when you're choosing the right platform to go with. I don't know how you feel about that, Nick.
I agree. I have a different approach to these live streams and this whole like audience selection and niching down. And Matthew, I'll put those details in the comments, and then I can even send you some additional material on editing and repurposing and stuff like that, so you can kind of have the full understanding. It's not too detailed, but I'll sync up with you after and send you some more information so you can get off the ground. But when it comes to the audience and niching down, and I honestly am of the opinion that you just make a show that you are happy with, that is genuine. You might have some higher level theme, but when I go look at the most successful shows on TV, number one, they're all branded personally by the host, right? So like Ellen DeGeneres, The Oprah Winfrey Show, Steve Harvey, Jerry Springer has like a theme and a format, but what they have is consistent formats, not necessarily consistent audiences. They have consistent formats. You know what to expect every single time, and they're constantly mixing it up. They're providing that entertainment factor. And that's what I think a lot of people do not do with these shows, because you have to remember, people are trying to sell stuff and educate people, but people are watching the shows for entertainment more than anything. And that's going to draw the most views. And then you can soft sell your products and you can talk about your services, but you're an entertainer. And so bringing in different guests from different backgrounds, I think it's much better long-term. It's going to appeal to a big, wide audience, and you still can talk about whatever it is that you're an expert in or whatever it is you want to talk about. So it's like, if you are into cooking, you can have a cooking podcast, but rather than interviewing chef after chef after chef after chef to try and cater to the cooking, audience, well, why don't you interview an athlete who likes to cook and talk about some of their meal prepping and what they do, and then go interview, a celebrity that, likes to go to different restaurants and talk about their favorite meals. And that's what people don't do, but that's what they do so well on TV. They have a consistent format that does still appeal to their audience, and but they have a wider audience, or they have a wider list of guests. They don't isolate to a specific group. It just gives you a lot of flexibility. It's a lot more entertaining. So that's kind of my opinion. And people will naturally attract to your show that's interested, and you're going to build a community just naturally. So I think it's so, I don't know. I really, when I talk about niching down, it's like, it just feels like isolating, it just feels like it's boxing you in, that you can't really produce the show how you want. And it should be focused on purely entertainment. And, the people, if you're putting out the content consistently over time, you're going to naturally build an audience. Your tribe will find you versus you trying and going and finding your tribe. That's kind of my approach to everything, is let's do it. Let's see what happens. And then we can adjust in real time, versus everyone just goes in with this laser focused plan. And then they're like, oh, well, it's not working. And it's like, just focus on making a great show, be yourself, be personable.
I love that, dude, because that's exactly where I'm at. I have such an array of guests on the show, and I don't know if I have there's no agenda. I don't think. I think my agenda is just to highlight people. Exactly. That's what it is, because a lot of people showing up already know who I am, so that's fine. So what I want to do is highlight my guest who's on there, and hey, you never know. It takes one person on this show where you can change somebody's life, Nick. And you never know, this Matthew person that we're talking to right now, you never know. That might be somebody who could potentially turn into a great live stream person. It's because he listened to the show. He just happened to find our show today, and that's what it's all about. For me, that's what it's about. Excuse me, this is not PC whatsoever. I swear on here, I make mistakes. And I think that's what people like, and I choke on my own spit here. So
well, that's another really good thing about live streams, is that there's not this pressure. I've hopped on hundreds of calls when I was initially launching this new idea of live streams. I only came up with this system in December, mid-December. I had this idea of what it would look like, and then I just went after it, and I hopped on hundreds of calls with people. And the biggest hesitation was like, oh, I'm not comfortable going live, because this feeling of maybe failure or being exposed. You're not comfortable in front of the camera, which I was not comfortable in front of the camera. I'm not, I'm an outgoing person. I'm very friendly. I love meeting people. When you put a camera in front of me, I got stage fright. I just didn't know how to talk. And with the live streams, people aren't expecting it to be a super high level production. It's real. It's supposed to be a casual conversation, much like you're at a coffee shop. That's what's great. That's what makes the content awesome. And at the same time, I think it's really good for people to get out of their comfort zone. So it's if you want to get into marketing, or you want to start your own business, or maybe you're in a high level executive position, but you're actually not that comfortable speaking to huge, massive crowds, which, you don't have a social strategy in place. I think live is the one simple thing that you can do that would help you be better in all of those areas. It's going to provide just the experience of speaking to people, being comfortable on camera, and really you finding your voice. I think that's the key here. If you want to be a content creator, you have to find your voice, which takes some time. And there's nothing simpler and faster and easier to do than just pushing a button and going live, because it is uncomfortable at first, but it can really kind of help you get through a lot of those barriers. And at the same time, you're getting content and you're getting exposure. And that's really the variable for success when it comes to any type of social strategy. If you can find a way to get content and get exposure, then, you're good.
Yeah. And one thing I really like about doing live stream, I call this a podcast, but it's a live stream, obviously. But this is why I like having guests, because we can just have a conversation. And our conversation can affect somebody else's life in a positive way, or it could open up my mind to something, or something I say can open your mind to something, and I'm not, when I used to do stuff, when I used to record videos, I remember when I first started doing this, got out of my comfort zone, I was so worried about it being perfect. No, I got to delete that, start all over. And no, I'm 10 minutes in it. Damn it. I got to start over because I said this wrong, and finally I got to the point, screw this. Then I did a couple of live ones, and I'm like, this is not bad. Then I asked people to come on, and I'm like, my mindset is, I know there are people watching. I know there are people listening, but I can concentrate on you right now. and we can concentrate on each other and not worry about everybody in the background. And then we get a couple questions here, then we can answer questions, and because people are really enjoying what we're talking about. So that's what makes it nice for me. Like you said, there's not the pressure of making this perfect. There's not the pressure of editing it. There's not the pressure of all that. It's just whatever happens, happens. And I found I really excel at this, so like we're talking in the green room, Nick, I don't know where I want to go with this. I really don't. I don't know if I want to push the level or I just want to keep doing this, because my mindset is, okay, if I go to the next level, am I still going to enjoy this? And I got to realize that, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's what's in my head right now.
I think you should always be innovating and progressing. I mean, years ago, like I just fell in love with personal development as a whole, like not focusing on the destination and just really the journey of getting better. And it's the same thing with the show. Like I had much of a similar start to you, very similar start. And I started streaming with Instagram first. And then I found out about StreamYard. And then I was like, oh, I can stream to YouTube and then I can stream to Facebook. And then I applied for LinkedIn over and over and over again. And then they gave it to me. And then I got Switcher. And then, I've even tested out, like I mentioned earlier, more advanced streaming softwares that if I had the team behind me and, I'm in the process of hiring, that I could make really high level productions. And I had no clue what I was doing when I was, poking around in there and just moving stuff around. But you add things over time. So, it can be really overwhelming at first, but add in a new element to the show each time, or, focus on maybe, like you said, Twitch, right? Adding that as an additional channel. And you don't have to be like, perfection is not like, it shouldn't prevent you from moving forward and testing out new stuff. And I think when people just get stagnant, they get complacent and they continue doing the same thing that's working rather than continually testing out new stuff and making it better. And with the live streams, it's like there's so much upside to it. There's just so many cool things you can do. I mean, you can do panels, you can do comedy shows, you can pretty much make your own TV type show. It doesn't have to be a talk show. You can, with a live stream, make your own television type reality show, any way that you want. And yeah, I think you should take it to the next level and, just enjoy it. You don't have to focus on the monetization, but if it's there and you're making a good show, it already has the potential to be very monetizable. So never get away from what makes you happy and what makes you start, right? Like if you feel the pressure to add in technology, then it's probably not a good idea. But if you want to use technology to enhance the show and make it a better show, because that's what you enjoy, then that's, I think that would be great.
Hey, with everybody out there who's listening and asking questions, I think for me, the big comfort stage with all this, where I really felt comfortable, was when I didn't have a target audience. And it wasn't like I didn't care, but it's just like, hey, whoever's going to watch is going to watch. Whoever's going to appreciate this is going to appreciate that. Once I got past worrying about how many likes, views, and everything I was going to get, and just let the stuff naturally happen, I think that's when it became more of a success, and because everybody looks like, we threw out the name earlier, everybody looks like Gary V. Guess what? Gary V didn't start off with 10 million followers. He started off with a couple of his buddies. You watch some of his videos from 10, 11, 12 years ago. They're freaking hilarious, but you can see how much he's involved, and he is really taking advantage of live streaming too. I mean, he really is. I mean, I watched him in a limo talking to some dude they picked up on the side of the road, and they're just BSing. I'm like, dude, that's the lie. But that was real. That was real.
It's the easiest way to get content, because, he talks about it all the time. Don't create, document. Because when you start thinking about creating content, it takes all this mental energy, and, you have to put all this time, and it's just cost intensive. And when you document, you're just documenting things in real time. Like, it works to just pull out your phone, take a video recording, and just plaster some text over it. But everyone wants this beautiful design because, like, they hide behind marketing. I really think people hide behind marketing. And Gary Vee always talks about it, just putting out the content and getting your message out there, and stop worrying about the marketing. And you hit the nail on the head. He started on Twitter, And all he did was community management for his first 2 years. He answered every single person on Twitter. That was his social strategy. It wasn't making YouTube videos. I mean, he was doing that stuff, but he just talked to people and he answered the initial 5 messages. And it's like, if you can't engage 5 people, what makes you think that you deserve, getting hundreds of thousands of views? Mm-hmm. If you can't take care of the 5 people that are actually responding to you right now. And that's what's so awesome about live streaming is in the beginning, there's only like 5 people that'll tune in and there's only 5 people that might message you, but they're authentic, they're real relationships. And as you build that, it's going to be exponential. And a year or 2 from now is when it's going to be huge. You're going to start seeing people with massive growth and, really just massive financial success, because live streaming as a vehicle is just, it's 10 to 50 times, more profitable than podcasts. There's just so many more avenues with video content and different channels. So you got to start small and just build that community and, get away from that pressure of vanity metrics. And that's when you'll start to see those real relationships and you really start to see the growth. It was the same for me too.
You hit a couple key points there. Engage. And I'm not going to say this in a bragging thing. This is just how it happened. I was engaging on LinkedIn constantly, just engaging with people, engaging people. And I went from 700 followers, like 16,000 overnight. It seemed like it was just fast. And that's where the show came from. It's just, okay, now I got this. Now I've actually built the foundation and have a little bit of a platform. Let's see where this rolls now. And number 2, I love just document, because I'll put out LinkedIn posts and I'll get some great traction on them. People are like, man, it's just crazy. I go, I don't even think about it. And they're like, what? Right. I go, it's just what pops into my head. Right. I did one a couple months ago that, it got close to 150 to 200,000 views, and all this just engagement in it. And you know what it was? I'm like, what's your favorite commercial right now? And I put that Geico commercial where it's the rap group out there singing about the ice cream and everything. Because I saw the commercial, I started laughing. I'm like, this is fantastic. Right. So I just put it down in a post and that thing just took off, because it doesn't need to be serious. You can still have fun. These posts I put for these promos. Yes, I want to promote you. I want you to have fun, but I have fun within them too. People say stuff and I'll just fly right back with them. And if you notice, before I engage with everybody who commented on it first, before the show, I'll come through and comment and tell everybody, thank you for listening to the show here. And anything comes up in the next couple of days, I'll comment right back. I think it's very important to engage with the people who took time to either read or watch what you're doing, because that's your tribe. People get to realize that's your tribe. And if they don't come back, they don't come back. That's fine. But if they stick with you, you never know. That might be a big sponsor for you down the road, because you don't know who they are. That might be somebody who can change your life or help you out with something. It's just, you never know who you run into. Yeah. And that's what I love about live. Yep.
Of course. Yeah. You have to engage with them. And, one person turns into 2 and 2 to 4. And that's where like the exponential growth comes from. So in the beginning, it starts small. And then once it starts to take off, you have that real community. So I completely agree. Got to take care of your tribe and, just focus on connecting with people.
Yeah. That's my big thing, so, hey man, we're going to start wrapping up a little bit, just for the fact, we'll probably go on a little longer, but we got to get that under an hour to get it on Instagram. Right.
Exactly.
IGTV. I got to go back and cut a couple, cause I went over by like 5 seconds. It's like, come on, come on, man. Jeez. But, Nick, just so people know, where are all the channels they can find you, and what's the one you really want them to come find you on now, and just all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my primary platform right now, and that's where I'm focusing my time and effort on. And then TikTok, if you want to connect on like a social platform. So I just made a new TikTok channel. I'm releasing a new show with some artists, with a couple of my friends in LA. And because I'm launching this Apple, TV channel and Amazon Fire TV and launching this network, I'm going to make actually new social media I did one for TikTok. I'm going to make a new one on Instagram. I haven't, talked about that yet, but I kind of want to start fresh. It's still going to be me. It's still going to be my personal brand, but entirely new content. I have a content editor a videographer, and it's just going to be different than what I've been posting before. But I'm on YouTube too. I started that channel. I rebranded my show 2 episodes ago, so I'm pretty much starting fresh on all of those channels. But if you want to connect with me, LinkedIn's the best way to do it. Shoot me a DM, and we can message back and forth. You can shoot me an email, but LinkedIn is probably the best place to connect.
That's awesome, man. I love the fact that you're talking about rebranding. And people out there, there's nothing wrong with rebranding yourself. I've rebranded this podcast 3 times now, and I'm going to do it again, going to next season, because I'm finding things that are working.
Right.
Just because you initially put something out there and it's a great idea at that time, a year from now, it could be totally different, because you have to go with the times. And that's what they get stuck in. I'm probably talking myself into going to the next level now, but you get stuck in a rut, you get stuck in a comfort zone, and you have to constantly just improve and move forward. And that's where I'm at with my show right now.
Always improving.
Yeah, exactly. And rebranding, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So I love it. Hey guys, if you look up in that corner, hey, I pointed the right way this time. You see, follow me on LinkedIn, please. I'd really appreciate that. Good stuff. You can also find me on YouTube. There's another one.
There we go.
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse. I'm not on Facebook and Instagram hardly at all. I'll just post stuff on there every once in a while. LinkedIn's my huge one. I feel it's great reach, and I'm hitting some people I feel that I would love to connect with and meet with, because a lot of entrepreneurs on there, a lot of business people, and you just get to learn new things, so, and you get to meet cool people who live by you too. Well, you kind of don't live by me anymore. So, but, it is what it is. So, hey guys, hit up Nick's profile. It's down in the comments. I'm over here, the camera. Check him out, man. I mean, he's a great connection. He does great live stuff. I mean, notifications pop up a lot. So I love seeing that. Love seeing where you're going, Nick. This is fantastic. And, hey, good luck with everything. I know we'll stay in contact and just see where everything goes. Hey, guys, next Saturday, please tune in 8 o'clock. We got 2 more episodes of the season. And then I'm going to take about a month and a half off, 1 to rebrand and 2 to enjoy pool season. So my pool's actually in this year during this time of year, so I could go use it. So, hey, guys, if you have any questions for any of us, please put it down in the comments or DM us directly. Anybody looking, to come on the show, please let me know. I love interviewing some really, like my friend Russ Johns would say, interesting people doing interesting things. Love that guy, a fellow Arizonian too. But yeah, please check us out next week, Saturday, guys. Hey, Nick, thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate you, my man. And everybody, enjoy your weekend.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you for having me on. If you guys have live streaming questions, don't be afraid to reach out. I do take a lot of time to hop on calls with people and just kind of help them get started for free, just because I enjoy it and I know it can help you. So guys, have a great rest of your day. Thanks a lot, Nick.
Yeah. That's how I met Nick. So I know he's real on that one, guys. So
yeah,
talk to you later.